There's an older couple that has walked our tiny town for years. They look like the male and female versions of the same person, reaffirming my belief that we're attracted to people that mirror us in subtle and sometimes not so subtle ways. A theory my wife detests, but still likes to point out to me at restaurants. Not that I believe this, honey, but check out the couple in the Hawaiian shirts by the window. But this couple, both pearl white hair, both striking the pavement heel first like wind-up toys. Him slightly bowed as if bearing some translucent yoke on his shoulders. Her, bobbing head stuffed under a visor, hips shifted forward and walking 2 paces ahead. Always, as if towing him behind. Everywhere, together. I've seen them since this all began. Now accessorized with masks, but still bruising the same sidewalks at the same breakneck speed. I wonder how they're weathering this storm, this inseparable pair of resigned lovers. Did they simply forge ahead, their pace and path unbroken? Or did they stumble through those first few weeks, as she and I did, finding new calluses underfoot? Do they stagger on now, like we do, an old car gasping for fuel? I'd like to believe that nothing's changed for them, but I also know that nothing is constant. Another theory I have that she objects less to: we're either going deeper in or further out of every relationship. But when all is stagnant, how can you tell? It's not too hard to imagine that old couple was once a young couple, telling their folks the big news, reserving the church, and sending out invitations. Their biggest concern was whether it would rain on their weekend, even though it's a good sign, a good omen for a resilient marriage. I think about their vows after all this. The idea of vows is unique. They're in a way a set of conditions, but those conditions lie on top of other conditions. The marriage will have its ups and downs. Yes, we know this. We also know the marriage is expected to last till death do you part. But this is a condition of time as we'd known it, with each day unfolding rhythmically. And under those conditions, if we should have our fight, and Lord knows what couple doesn't from time to time, we know that we can always walk away, step outside, get some fresh air, and come back ready, both of us, to make amends. And when we ask, under those conditions, how the other is doing, it's not meant as a check-in because, quite frankly, one of us has been a real asshole this morning. It's also not intended to see how near or far one is from another blow-up that, if we're being honest here, kind of freaks the kids out. No, under those conditions, a vow is just that. An assurance that the peaks and valleys ahead will be traveled one after the other, according to the speed limit. She and I were married under those conditions. And as we thrash or pout or sleepwalk under these new ones, what landmarks are there to keep us on the path? The years behind us, the 4 bright, resilient children among us, and the memory of that day in August when she turned a corner and we heard our song and we said our vows and we ran for the hills. Our friends and family like to remember that the rain held off that day until the pastor pronounced us husband and wife and we kissed and fled. But I remember we were so tired and overwhelmed from the traveling and the rehearsing and decorating and seeing all our favorite people in one drink of an eye that we could barely make it through the reception. That all we wanted was to curl up So here it is, my love. Another landmark, stuck deep in the mud. Our friends and family like to remember that the rain held off. But all I remember is that it rained on our wedding day.